What was interesting in the conversation with Jensen Huang is that you were balanced in saying, I don't think we necessarily agree on everything here still. Let's start with the main point, which is, did we define usefulness? And do you have a sense that Jensen Huang has changed his timeline of when he thinks usefulness of your industry will be achieved?
Well, I think today was kind of the purpose of today was to bring that timeline in, right, to kind of take back what it is that he had said before. He said it on stage, I think, twice. It was his mea culpa.
Yes.
Right? So that was the purpose of today's kind of...
He said that he would be the first CEO probably in history to invite a panel of people to tell him that he was wrong.
It was wrong, exactly. So, and it was funny today, just in general, we've been working with NVIDIA on a demonstration for today that was with NVIDIA, AWS, and AstraZeneca, where we gotten a 20x improvement on what we had done previously. Also, we had taken with Ansys, with a product that they do, which is normally run on GPUs,
right,
and managed to get a 12% increase in using our quantum computers. So while those numbers are not really enough to take over the market, because usually you need 1 or 2 orders of magnitude to be disruptive to a market, the fact that we managed to do it on kind of our 36-qubit system is really quite remarkable.
NVIDIA has a quantum computing business insofar as, and we got into it during the panel, that you have access to architecture, DGX, their high-performance GPUs,
yep,
also some software and open source solutions. And what they would say is that will help your engineers and computer scientists calibrate, reduce error counts, design better. Is that how it actually plays out for you?
Some aspects. We have a DGX cluster that we use for designing of the quantum computers. Not so much in the error correction aspect, that's something we do ourselves. But certainly we use a number of GPUs for designing the quantum computer itself. We also, for small qubit counts, because as soon as you get into beyond about 35 qubits, you can no longer simulate one of these on a GPU.
Right.
So for those, we actually run the simulation on a GPU just to make sure our hardware is working correctly. The problem is when you get to 64 qubits, you need 2.5 billion GPUs.
Because for each qubit you add, performance essentially doubles.
Doubles, right. And it means that the matrix math that you have to do suddenly is doubling as well. So basically, it's about 35 qubits to fully simulate it. You can only get it on a single DGX 100.
Peter, I've got to hold you to this, and I wonder if it ties into the new CEO and, a sort of reset a little bit. There's a difference between lab experiment and commercial use, making money, revenue generation. That's the question I get for you most.
Yes. So what Jensen said, one area we definitely agree on, which is you need to find a set of applications early on that you can start to make money on and to build that flywheel to be able to power your R&D. And so the examples we're talking today, for instance, in the chemistry application and also with Ansys, is exactly those kinds of things. So that's exactly what our plan is.
Peter, you are the executive chairman now. You were CEO 1 week ago. Kerrisdale issued a short report on your stock, on your company. I just want to give you a chance to respond, as we've not had a chance to speak since then.
Sure. It's a short report. So their goal is obviously to try to cast doubt about the company and make money that way. Unfortunately, it's just if you're a public company, these are the kinds of things you have to endure. We don't put much credence to those things.
The last thing I want to ask you is about how big today was in the change of trajectory or momentum for your industry. Jensen Huang is a character, yep, and he was honest on stage, but GTC is an incredible event. It has scale, it has eyeballs. Do you think you'll see something of substance come out of this for your company, for your sector? It's
certainly Jensen's goal was to give us the microphone today to be able to get out our story, and that's certainly important. But I say, if you were Sam Altman 5 years ago trying to convince the world that AI is coming, probably he wouldn't have been successful. And the question is how much time should Sam Altman try to convince the world AI is coming? Instead, just go back and actually make it happen. So in that sense, actually, it's probably not that significant. What really matters is actually going and doing it, not actually getting the message out.